The beauty industry sends 877 pounds of waste to landfill every single minute. This is a stat for North America published by Green Circle Salons. That's per minute. If you multiply that number by 60, tells you how much it would be in an hour. You multiply that number by 24 would be how much there is in one day. And those numbers grow astronomically if you get your calculator out. It's crazy. And we're the beauty industry, yet somehow we have all this waste that's going to landfill that's obviously negatively impacting the beauty of our planet, right? Sustainability is a big topic in our world. Climate change, we've all felt the impacts of climate change to some extent, be it all the, the rise of wildfires, flooding, hurricanes. We just seem to have more and more severe weather patterns hitting us. And I think all of us need to start by just reflecting on what we can be doing at an individual level. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about some tips and things that you can be doing in your beauty role, right, to reduce your environmental impact, to be more sustainable, which is not only going to help you from a business standpoint, but it's actually going to create a better experience and a better message that's going to attract more clients to your business. So a lot of great content coming up your way in today's episode, all about salon sustainability. Welcome to the Salon Scoop, a podcast by Salon S.O.S. I'm your host, Scott Moon, the founder of Salon S.O.S., and I'm obsessed with helping salon professionals live their best life. In this show, we shop talk all things salon to bring you real life stories, debates, entertainment, and inspiration to help you find happiness and success in this beautiful industry. If you work in the salon industry in any capacity, this podcast is open to you. So set down your scissors or rinse out that toner and let's get into it. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. We are excited to have you here with us for another episode of the Salon Scoop. Today, we're going to get the scoop on salon sustainability, right? How we as salon professionals can maybe do differently, right? Do things a little bit differently that are going to have a positive environmental impact. Our world, consumers are more and more concerned about the environment, and businesses, right, that can show that they are concerned about the environment and are actually taking actions, right, to reduce their carbon footprint, to do positive things for the environment, are actually going to be the businesses that are winning, right? The consumers are going to be drawn to and attracted to. Because in today's world, and I have with me today, obviously, salon expert and Salon S.O.S, partner, Sarah Perrin. Sarah, you know this as well as I do. Like, consumers in all industries now are thinking about companies and how their actions are impacting the environment. And that's actually affecting purchase decisions, would you say?
1000%. I know it affects my purchase decisions. And it was wild actually, because I think that we've all kind of been, making waves to try and be more sustainable in the salon industry, because like that statistic that you said at the very beginning, I'm like, it is staggering how much waste comes out of, this beauty industry, right? But where I noticed a huge shift and I was really struggling was over COVID, because again, we had made all of these different strides to try and be a little bit more sustainable and have more sustainable practices. And then all of a sudden, you've got, this obviously infectious plague that has taken over the world. And now everything has to be single use and throw out and everything like that too, right? So I'm like, it is a struggle in the salon industry. And I find, especially being an esthetician, like being somebody that is very intensive about my disinfection procedures and everything like that, there is a little bit of this like tricky spot that you get put in where you're wanting to be, completely disinfected and sanitary and all of these different things. but on the same token, you don't want to be using single use items for everything. So it is a tricky place being, a salon owner that also is very passionate about, climate change and protecting the environment and everything like that, because they do counteract a lot. So, but there are solutions. I think that that's why we're here today. And what we're talking about is that there are solutions and ways that you can kind of minimize that footprint and how much waste that salons are putting out on an hourly and a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what we're getting into today. We're going to actually share 17 salon sustainable practices that you can implement in your salon business this year, whether you're a solopreneur, whether you are, a salon owner with a, small, medium, large salon. All of these actions can be taken into account. So let's just delve in and go through some of the things that you can be doing. Hopefully you'll learn a few tips that maybe you can add if you're already saying, hey, you know what, I'm already a sustainable salon, I do lots of things. That's amazing. We applaud you, we support you. And maybe there'll be a couple of things in here that you are not doing yet that you can add. Maybe some of this is brand new to you and you're thinking, you know what, I kind of need to get started on this. So you might take a lot more from this list. The very first one might sound basic, but I'm going to go and take it to the next level. So we all should be practicing proper recycling, right? With whatever your municipality can do for you. So typically that should be glass, plastic, paper and cardboard appropriately. Make sure that you're set up with your local municipality to do that. If your municipality does not do that for you, there are private services available. But think about this in the salon world and spa world. You can also be recycling your hair, your foils without washing them, your actual leftover chemicals in the bowl so you don't rinse them down the sink, aerosol cans, and even what you were mentioning, Sarah, the single-use things, the PPE, right? All those personal protective equipment that we've been using the past few years, all of that can also be recycled now. And we're going to talk a little bit deeper at the end of the show how you can get into that. But I wanted to just let everybody know that all of this can be recycled, and it's the first thing that you probably want to look at as a salon sustainability practice. All right,
For
let's
sure.
get into some of the other tips here as we go. Things that you can really still be doing in your own in your own salon beyond that. But if you're intrigued about recycling hair and foils and PPE, we'll give you a little bit of insights at the end.
I actually cannot wait to talk about recycling the hair. When I learned about what happens with hair at the landfill and everything like that, it was just like mind blown. So, really excited to talk about that after, Scott. But I will start with just some things that you can kind of implement in your salon. So, I wanted to start with the installing low flow faucet and water saving devices to reduce water consumption. So, just a quick shout out, not sponsored, but EcoHead shower heads. That's something that we use at the salon. And not only do they like kind of filter the water out and everything like that, so it's better for, color, like rinsing out color, rinsing hair, everything like that. But it also reduces water and energy usage up to 65%. So there are things like that that you can kind of swap out in your salon. And it might be a little bit of an investment to, start up with some of these things, but something like that, just changing the water heads on your at your washing station can make a huge difference in how much energy and water is being used.
Absolutely. Another, we're talking about water. Let's talk about electricity and just basic energy efficient lighting throughout the salon, right? LED lighting. The bulbs, yeah, they cost a little bit more, but you save so much in the long term in terms of using less electricity, and they just last so much longer than old school bulbs. So that is a very simple thing that everybody should be looking to do. It also provides a very right kind of proper lighting to be evaluating the work in the salon as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing is just be really conscious of what types of cleaning products you're using. Obviously, we talked about this at the beginning. We are dealing with, hair and aesthetics where you do have to adhere to different disinfection levels, and there are going to be certain types of products that you have to use to disinfect certain implements. But when possible, using eco-friendly cleaning products that are free from harmful chemicals for, other cleaning throughout the salon is a super easy way just to kind of, again, minimize how many chemicals you're putting out, because it's inevitable that there are going to be chemicals in a salon setting.
Absolutely. And at the same time, you talk about cleaning products. Let's talk about, hair products that you're using. There's a ton now in the market of, natural organic hair care products that are environmentally friendly. That you can certainly consider to be using, in your own salon, as well as selling, to your guests and consumers, so that we are avoiding some of the harsher chemicals, let's say, that have traditionally been found in some of the hair care products. So that's an easy decision and choice that you can be making as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I know that when we're sourcing out brands and everything like that that we're bringing in, that's one of the biggest things that we are all about is seeing what they do as a company to be a sustainable company as well. So another super easy thing to switch over is instead of using disposable cloth towels in your bathroom, like so instead of having paper towel, get nice reusable cloth towels. Again, a lot of the things that we're saying might be a little bit more of an investment off the top, but again, they last forever. And it's actually, I find personally, we discussed this about guest experience in washrooms and stuff like that. But I'm like, I personally, if I'm visiting somewhere, I think like a cloth towel as opposed to, paper towel is like a nicer touch too. So invest in some really, nice, soft hand towels kind of thing. Roll them up, just throw them in with your laundry at the end of the night, right?
Yeah, I love that. All right, let's talk about going paperless, right? That's kind of
Yes.
a buzzword that we've heard a lot. How do we go paperless to the salon? Here's a couple of examples. One, don't be, printing paper receipts for payments. Offer, the option to send a receipt by email, right? If people want the receipt. Having an online booking option where booking is happening, online, as opposed to having like written paper books, with calendars, and having it, your calendar digitally, like on your computer or phone, is a great option. You can even think about coupons. A lot of salons give, let's say, welcome coupons and welcome packs, right, to brand new customers. It's all this like paper and like thin cardboard things that we're passing it. People don't hang on to that stuff. It's a pain in the butt to track, and customers don't like to keep them in their purse or wallet. You can actually digitize all those things. If you have sort of a salon app-based program, and you can contact us. We have an amazing program that salons love, to be able to manage digital coupons and loyalty programs. And that's another area. Loyalty cards, those paper punch cards that salons have. We're beyond, that today. Let's go paperless, make it digital. It's so much easier to track, and it's better for the environment at the same time. So those are some ways that we can go paperless.
For sure. That's a really good point. Another thing you can do, and obviously this is where you can do it. This isn't going to be for every piece of furniture in your salon, but incorporate sustainable interior design elements using recycled or upcycled furniture. So again, if you can buy some things secondhand instead of having to purchase it new, A, probably going to save you a little bit of dough, and B, again, just kind of upcycling, recycling so that it's another thing that's not hitting the landfill, right? So whenever you can do that, that's definitely a good step to take.
Yeah. And think about supporting local suppliers, right? We are great in the beauty industry about asking our customers to buy local and support local businesses, us, right, to buy their products as opposed to going to big box stores like Amazon, whatever. But what are we doing, right, to get our supplies? Are we going on to Amazon, to buy our supplies, and then we're chastising our customers,
Yeah.
for buying products on Amazon? So maybe we should also support local suppliers, right, who provides, sustainably sourced products, materials. Look local first, for your suppliers as well.
Yeah, that's a super, super good point. Like you say, anytime you can support local, again, not only is that great for the economy, but also for the environment because you're not having shipping and, all of those types of things that come along with it, right?
Exactly. And if you know that they're using, locally sourced, materials and whatnot for their products, that's a big plus.
Absolutely. So another thing you can do is reduce single-use plastics by offering refillable containers for shampoos, conditioners, and other beauty products. I'm really excited to dive deeper into this probably later in the year because this is something we're working towards implementing in my own salon is a refill program. So once I get that figured out a little bit more, I can share more. But I just think it's a really cool concept and not only great for the consumer to be able to try things out without having to buy like a full bottle, but again, so much more eco-conscious to be able to, instead of chucking out, although we do recycle all of our bottles and everything like that, but instead of throwing out, your empty shampoo bottle, it's like, cool, bring it in, fill it up again, right? So refill programs, I feel like, are definitely going to be something we see a lot more of in salons.
Absolutely. And it's always important to think of the three R's, is you want to reduce, then reuse, and then recycle. So while it's great that we're recycling, and you said, we recycle the plastic bottles, that's fine. But if you can start by reducing and reusing, that's actually better for the environment than the final step, which is recycling. So little hitter on that. All right.
Yeah.
We talked about, recycling all the materials. Another one that's become big in the, residential space is composting, right? So compost is pretty big in many municipalities across North America. It would be very interesting for you to look at the composting options that you might have around your salon, right?
Yep.
Because of all the different, waste, even like, napkins, tea bags, all those little things,
Coffee
food,
grounds.
coffee, yeah, coffee grounds, the food, little food waste that's happened, all of it can be composted, and you may not have the service available. So that's something to recognize, but check into what options are available, because composting is a huge, when I started composting at home residentially, like my actual garbage is like nothing, because most of
Mm-hmm.
it was food stuff at the end of the day. And now I'm amazed at how little waste there actually is, residentially at least.
Well, and something I'd love to bring up is that a lot of people don't really think about hair being a compostable item, right? They throw it right in the garbage, like what do you think? Like, I'm like, how many haircuts do we have coming in? How many hair clippings and stuff? One of the most fascinating things that I learned is when you're throwing your hair into a plastic black garbage bag and it's going to the landfill, it's rotting and then emitting methane gas back into like, it is just so fascinating to think about that. So composting, like even with like the hair clippings that you have, and we'll dive more into this when we talk about Green Circle, but it's not like, I'm like, it's causing a lot of emissions that I don't think anybody actually had any real. I didn't know hair rot. I don't know what the word is for that, but like, I'm like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that it like created this emission and everything like that. So that was wild. So I just encourage every salon owner, go through everything and see what actually can be recycled, what can be composted, and what does need to go in the garbage. Because I feel like there's almost a lack of information even just with that, right? So
Yeah.
so yeah, I love that. And then another thing is too, is just educating your staff and clients about sustainable practices through workshops, informative materials displayed within the salon. So whatever recycling processes that you are going through, I think it is important to make sure your team is on board, obviously, but B, know that your clients are aware of it as well, because it is a cause that is very important to a lot of consumers. So make sure that you are communicating what it is that you are doing to offset your footprint.
Absolutely. Another area you can do is to consider using biodegradable or bamboo-based disposable tools. You'll see bamboo a lot now as a material for different items, and it's an opportunity for you to just look at, what are the actual materials going into the production of some of these tools that I'm using, and are they biodegradable? Are they coming from pre-recycled sources? Those are decisions that you can be making, again, to kind of reduce your impact and increase the overall sustainability of your salon.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing is too, and it's funny because this is so on trend right now, anyways, but have a bunch of plants in your salon. Not only is it super aesthetically pleasing, but it's also
Yeah.
going to enhance, the air quality and everything like that too. So, we've got a lot of fake plants in my salon, but we've got some, real ones mixed in there or whatever. And yeah, it just really does. I'm like, you've got fresh plants or flowers or whatever it is, and like it just smells good, it feels good. So and enhances the air quality. So
Yeah, there's a lot of great benefits to that for sure, just from, like you said, the feeling as well. Here's another area you can do is develop partnerships, with local organizations, nonprofit or for profit, but they focus on environmental causes, right? That way you can support some kind of meaningful initiatives together, have a community initiative stand for something, maybe a give back program that really shows your commitment in the community. And that's something you're really going to be able to communicate with your guests, maybe even find ways for them to get involved in some initiatives that just shows that you're going beyond, some of the basics and making a commitment to help make your community more sustainable.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. You touched on this a little bit with going paperless, but I feel like it can go in every area of the salon. So when we're talking any kind of digital marketing strategy, instead of traditional advertising materials like flyers, posters, things like that, let's kick it all to the curb and go digital with everything. You kind of said this earlier too. I'm like, people don't like having paper copies of things and they lose them and everything like that. So I'm like, it just makes sense to go digital in every app or on every avenue that you can when it comes to, cutting paper.
Yeah. All right, last one we've got for you is to measure and track your salon's carbon footprint regularly so you can actually have goals and see your progress. Now, this might seem okay, well, how do I do that? There are some companies out there that can come in and do a full sort of analysis for you and calculate your actual carbon footprint based on a whole bunch of factors of how much energy you're using and water that you're using and your supplies and sources. So that's one area that you can do. There would be a cost associated to do that, obviously. You can also look at your actual waste and how you're reducing that through a program like Green Circle Salons. And we talked at the beginning of how you can actually recycle your hair, your foils, your color waste, your aerosol cans on top of papers and plastics and everything to really reduce up to like 98, 99% of all of your traditional waste could be recycled. And I know that Green Circle actually does a measurement for you and provides a certificate each year because they weigh all the materials. Full disclosure, I am a part owner in Green Circle Salons. I've been involved for a long time. I really believe in environmental practices and what Green Circle has been doing for the industry for a long time. But beyond that, I want to give Sarah, maybe you can explain what happens with some of those materials and how it works in your salon, because I know you've been doing this and working with Green Circle for many, many years, like way before you and I knew each other. So maybe you can explain from a salon standpoint what that actually has looked like for you
Yeah, for sure. Well, I actually thought it
and
was
how you
funny.
how you separate your hair and how it gets picked up and all that stuff.
For sure. And it is the simplest, easiest thing. I thought it was super cool when I learned that you're one of the co-owners because I just think it's such an incredible program. And I don't know why all salons don't do it. I mean, obviously there is like an additional cost and things like that, but I'm like, it's just it it so drastically reduces the amount of garbage that we were putting out. So it's a super easy setup for the salon and for the girls to use and everything like that. You've just got your different boxes that are clearly laid out that say, paper and foil and hair and all of these different things. And my favorite part, like I said, was kind of talking about earlier. I thought it was fascinating when I learned that hair rotted and created all of these emissions. And one of the things that I love about Green Circle is that they take that hair and then repurpose it for something different. It's not being recycled. Well, it is being recycled. It's being reused. So different things like, being put into pouches to clean up oil spills because what absorbs oil better than hair, right? Or I remember a handful of years ago, there were some big forest fires up north. Like I'm in Saskatchewan, so there was a ton of people evacuated, a ton of animals that needed rescuing, all of these things. So I had heard that the hair was being put into these dog beds to kind of support these animals that had been displaced and didn't have a home and didn't have their families and stuff. So it's not only recycling, like that's the good in and of itself, but it's also what gets done with the products after that I find to be absolutely fascinating. And it's so easy. You literally just have your separate boxes of everything. One of our girls packs it up, and the UPS guy comes and picks it up and drops us off new boxes. And I also do love how you were saying how you get this like yearly kind of report card. This is how much waste you've prevented from going to the landfill. This is this is the impact that you yourself have made, kind of thing. So I'm like, it's just such an incredible company. And I think it's almost like a necessary now, like as a salon owner, like it has to be a system that's implemented in my space, at least.
Love that. Thank you for sharing. We also did a podcast episode. If you go back and look through, we have a roundtable discussion with 3 different salon owners and all the sustainability practices that they've been implementing. So if you're interested in sustainability and how you can be more eco-friendly as a salon, highly encourage you to go and check out that episode as well. Tons of learnings and best practices from salons that have tried implementing different things in their salons. So hopefully you've picked up some ideas through the list today that we shared with you that you can put into place. We definitely encourage people to be conscious about the environment and the impact that we all have, and hopefully take some actions to to all sort of do our part as much as we can. I think that's what it all comes down to. Little actions built all together create big impacts at the end of the day. So that's our PSA, public service announcement for today. Hope everyone learned something from sustainability. If there's something else that you're doing in your salon company around this topic that we didn't talk about, please share it with us. We want to be able to share that back with our community. That's kind of what it's all about, right? So send us that information. Thanks again for listening, and we look forward to connecting with you on our next episode. Stay stylish, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to the Salon Scoop podcast. This show is produced by Salon S.O.S, a digital marketing agency by industry professionals for industry professionals. If you want simple and affordable solutions for any of your salon marketing needs, such as websites, client loyalty, Google search rankings, social media, or more, come visit us at salonsos.ca or on Instagram at salon.s.o.s. If you want to hear more episodes like this and help us continue to bring the industry great content, it would mean so much to us if you would support us in one of the following ways. Either share this episode with one other industry professional, and rate the show on Spotify or write us a quick review on Apple Music. We want to hear your feedback. If you have follow-up questions or ideas for future episodes, please reach out. DM us on Instagram at salonus.s.o.s or hit us up on our website again at salonsos.ca. Again, thanks so much for listening. Now go get your hustle on, keep smiling, and we'll catch you on our next episode.